Welcome to the Silhouettes of Success podcast with your host, successful entrepreneur, broker, and business mentor, Amber Weitzer. Because success comes in all shapes, sizes, and styles, the Silhouettes of Success podcast is shining the light on industrious women with a collection of curated conversations of intentional inspiration designed to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, feed your soul, and gift you with actionable insights directly from inspirational, everyday women who've shown tenacity, grit, and grace, having taken on the challenges in their lives and business and won. Remarkable, down-to-earth, and relatable, Amber and her guests will share with you uplifting and extraordinary real-life success stories, motivational ideas that just might help spark something within you. With the deepest desire to serve you, help you grow so you can begin to shine the light that will illuminate your very own silhouette of success. So, let's get to it.
Hello and welcome to the Amber Weitzer podcast, Silhouettes of Success. Our VIP featured guest is an entrepreneur, president, and founder of Brownie Points, an online retailer as well as a wholesaler to specialty shops, groceries, and corporations across the country. Brownie Points specializes in providing ultimate gourmet brownies, popcorn, and chocolate confections that have been infused with luxe gourmet ingredients. Silhouette, let's welcome Lisa King to the show. Hello, Lisa.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, I am delighted to be with you today. This will be so much fun. Thank you for taking time to share, I always say, a portion of your Silhouette of Success story with us. So welcome once again.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Excellent. All right, let's kick off the segment and have you share the early shapings of your silhouette by talking a little bit about your background with the audience.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you, I was a teacher. I loved my profession, but I made a mean brownie. And really, what began as a hobby for me ended up becoming a very serious business. And initially, by day, I taught school, and by night, I baked brownies. And I started out by doctoring up mixes. And eventually, I created my own brownie recipe from scratch. Held focus groups in my tiny little apartment with my family and friends and neighbors in my building. And eventually, Brownie Points became a full-time job. I finished my school year and pursued this full-time. And it's actually a passion that I absolutely love. And I have never looked back. And it has just honestly been an absolute labor of love for me.
What excitement in your voice when you talk about that. And it sounds like you've got quite the beautiful elixir there of all the, the goodies that you're going to talk about here in a minute with what you do make and provide. How did you get started from, because you talk to us a little bit about the structure of the business, because you're a wholesaler, you're in and you've got some accolades we're going to talk about here in a little bit, but how did you go
Thank you.
from your first samples to the retail? And I know we don't have that much time, but how did you make that happen?
Well, it's funny. I mean, I really feel like I'm proof that persistence pays off. And when you really believe in something and you follow it, it happens. It doesn't happen overnight, but it will happen. And actually, it was just something where I started in a tiny little apartment and eventually just built up the business to the point where we could have our own facility. It took about 5 years and lots of help and lots of support, especially from my family, particularly my sister-in-law. And I'm sure that was mentioned in some of the information that I sent you as well. But that just so much help in my apartment, getting these items done and ready and packaged and shipped. And, it took time to learn different ways of doing things differently and better, but we did. And as I said, eventually we were able to move into our own facility. That was a long time ago in Cleveland, Ohio, and about 1,200 square feet. And as time went on, we continued to grow. We continued to go into larger facilities, buildings, adding people. We learned to understand who our customers are and still are at this time, and the different avenues that we needed to pursue to continue to grow. And obviously, we're brownie obsessed. and we do everything imaginable around brownies, and we deliver fresh baked happiness all over the world now, not just in the United States.
Wow. It is a global dream come
It
true.
is. It
Wow.
is. And it makes
Yes.
everybody happy. And that's the best part. We love that. So, I mean, it's just so fun to make everybody happy every time they get brownie points.
Yes. Oh, that's so cool. So cool. When we see and hear, so the audience has now gotten a, pardon the pun, a sample of a morsel of really how a little bit of the background story, just a little bit. Um, and you've got a teacher background.
I
So
do.
a day in the life of now, what would that look like with running the business at the level that you're at now? So the alarm clock goes off, your work or business day begins. We always get motivated or encouraged by successful people, and you've got some best practices I'm sure that you employ. Are you structured with the routine? Are you spontaneous? What's that look like for you in a day?
So that's a great question because I would say a little bit of both. I think you have to be that, especially to have a successful business. But my day usually begins at 4:20 in the morning, and that would be Monday through Friday. I'm up. I'm out of my house by 4:45 at the latest. I actually work out before I go to work every day. It's probably one of the best, most therapeutic things I can do because it really not only helps me clear my mind, but it also helps me realize what I have ahead of me and what I need to do to make the day successful. And sometimes I have some struggles in my mind of certain things that are going on. And many times while I'm working out, I'm able to really think it through. And by the time I'm done, I feel like I have a resolution. So I do that. I run home. I get ready. That's not my fastest thing, but I get ready. I get to my office. I see my son, my husband in the morning. My son goes to school. And then I'm here. And honestly, every day is a different day. My primary focus is the sales and the marketing for the business. But I have a lot of incredible people that help me with that. But I do have a plan every day. I do have specific people I reach out to daily. And then obviously, I'm overseeing what's going on within the business and on the business and all the new flavors we're developing, new products we're developing. So it's really a little different every day, but that's part of what makes it so fun and so exciting.
Thinking through, you just mentioned clearly there's some times where there are a little bit of the struggles, and that's just part of daily life. And then of course in the business realm, and as you're growing and expanding and all of these amazing things, can you point to any positive adjustments that you've incorporated in your life or environment that help support your growth, goals, or dreams?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there are several different things I think that have happened, but I think some of the things that I've just come to terms with, number one, is that you have to realize that adaptability is actually a strategy. You have to be adaptable. You have to have an open mind. I also have come to realize, and I feel like I realized this early on, the right people make all the difference. So, one thing that I've always been very, very big on, and I've always advised other people, is surround yourself with people who know more than you and
Mm,
realize you don't know everything. And I feel like when you come to terms with that, that's huge. The other thing is, and I would tell any entrepreneur, any person even beginning, thoughts of starting a business, you have to remain optimistic because the day you lose your optimism is the day you lose your business because every business, no matter how great it is, has ups and downs and roller coaster rides. And you have to be able to weather through that. And you have to remain optimistic and know that you're going to find a way to make it better. But if you don't count on it surviving or being successful because I really don't feel that it will be.
mm. Valuable lessons indeed. A lot of mindset. You mentioned that a couple of times, and in different ways. But the mindset is so strong. It seems. Is
It
that
is.
natural for you, or do you have to work at that?
No, actually, I mean, I will tell you, I'm definitely an optimist in general with everything, but I really do believe that in order to be a visionary and to
Mhm.
see what you want ahead of you happen, I really believe you have to visualize it and you have to believe it and you have to remain optimistic. And I do attribute a lot of that to our success because you're right, Amber. It's not easy, and lots of things happen, and lots of obstacles occur, and you can have the best laid plans, and something can change in a moment, and you have to be able to adjust and be adaptable and make it work regardless. And your optimism plays a big role in that.
Talking similar train of thought with that, when you get stuck, how do you get unstuck? If there is a barrier between you and a goal and a dream or an objective, what works for you to kind of get past that?
Mostly communication,
Uh-huh.
talking it out, talking with my team. We actually do something every single Tuesday, like clockwork, which is called a level 10 meeting, where all of our high level team people get together. I mean, it's a strategic meeting. We do it every week. I don't care what's going on, we do it. But that's one of the ways that sometimes we can get past some of the barriers and obstacles that we have, is really just by communicating, talking it out, and together coming up with a solution. And I can't tell you how effective it is, because we did not always do this, but we do now. And I feel like it's been life changing for our business and for our growth. And actually, just overall, for just everybody feeling good about what they're doing every single day when they come into work.
This might be kind of a tangent off of that, because as the owner or the founder and running the show there as an independent business owner and entrepreneur, where do you turn to for support to bounce things off of, whether it be in that environment or outside of external of that environment?
Absolutely. So I would say, first of all, of course, I turn to some of my sister in law is my business partner. So she's first. I would probably go to her first because she's so logical. And I'm much more of the emotional person. So we're a really good pairing, because what I am, she's not, and vice versa. So I will always start with Lisa, because she's the voice of reason, and she can usually help me work things out, think things through, and find a better path. But I also will say I rely, my husband, my children are incredible. Because they're on the outside looking in, so sometimes they have a different perspective, and that perspective is actually a very good one and very eye-opening for me at times. And then I would say, thirdly, there are other women I know in business that I admire, and sometimes just to get an understanding and to make sure that I'm not the only one feeling this way, I would go to one of them, and that's also very, very helpful.
Looking back as you embarked on this segment of your silhouette of success, your journey through, is there anything that you would wish that somebody would have told you or warned you about or shared with you as you embarked on this journey?
Well, I would say probably failure is just a word. And
Mm.
knowing that when you fail, it actually can be a success. And I always say to my children, and I say it here, it's only a failure if you repeat it. But I will
Yeah.
tell you, I'm very, very hard on myself. And initially, when I would work very hard to make something happen, and it did not happen, it took a few days for me to get over it. I'm not going to lie. But now that I look back, I realize some of those failures actually ended up becoming huge successes, because I did step back. I did try to analyze and understand why. And most importantly, I did not repeat it. But I would have liked to have heard that, because maybe I would not have been quite so hard on myself. But then again, maybe it helped me, get to the next level as well, because you do make some realizations that definitely help you realize it's not as bad as you really think it is.
We are so hard on ourselves from time to time,
We
aren't we?
are.
Too
We
too
are.
too many times.
Agree with you.
Oh,
Agreed.
wow.
I know.
Oh, mercy. All right. So, talk to us. I'm excited for you to share about brownie points and the inspiration. You talked about a lot of that in the beginning, but fill us in more on what's going on and the amazing. You've got some amazing accolades and notable milestones. I didn't read all those in the intro because
Thank
I wanted
you.
you to share them. So, talk to us about what's
Oh,
going on.
well, I appreciate that so much. Well, we have a lot of different things going on. First of all, our online business, our gourmet gifting, Our rebranding has been an incredible success. So we are extremely excited. We made a decision 2 years ago, actually, before we had to, that we were going to make sure that all of our packaging, that everything we do comes to us domestically. So everything we do is recyclable. All of our packaging is actually made in Ohio, which is where we are located, which is huge for us, and we love it. Um, so that's one piece. We've also created an entire new brownie line, which we call our Flavor Factory. We actually make the most brownie flavors on earth, and that is a fact. Um, and as I mentioned earlier, I know I told you we're brownie obsessed, but we truly do make the most brownie flavors on earth. And we feel like we've successfully reinvented America's favorite dessert, but we've actually made it for today's taste. So that's been really fun. And actually, as a result, we've been so blessed. I mean, we have received wonderful accolades from a lot of national press and TV shows, and we've been featured on the Today Show several times. Good Morning America. We've been on CNN. We've been on Fox Business. I was on Fox Business actually in December again, just as a business owner. We've had multiple write-ups, which have been wonderful. And then we've actually even been included on a writer, which is a request from a celebrity for their dressing room. And our brownies were actually on a writer for Justin Bieber. So we were very excited about that. And I'm also a huge fan. So that was actually even more exciting. And as a result of going into his dressing room, we actually had a request for all the dressing rooms at the Billboard Awards and the Grammy Awards. So all of those have been very, very fun. And then last but not least, we are in the process. This will actually begin in April, but we are going to be opening our first pop up store in Columbus, Ohio. It is actually the first and only all brownie store, brownie boutique. It will be an experiential experience where people can come in and experience not only sampling the brownies, but making their own brownie gifts with all the different brownie flavors that we have available. And in addition to that, we make something called brownie emojis. And yes, they are brownies that look exactly like emojis. So you can express yourself and add them to your gifts to show, what you want to tell somebody special when you give them their gift.
My cheeks, I'm just sitting here smiling the whole time listening to you because,
Oh, thank
oh,
you.
how exciting. Okay, I saw you on Fox.
Oh, you did? Well,
You
thank
were in the
you.
business forum. Was it a
Yes,
business? Yes, I saw you.
yes. Thank you. That is so
Yes,
nice.
it
Thank
was so
you.
cool. I was like, all right. Oh
It
my
was fun.
goodness. So the
It was
pop-up
fun.
store, that's pretty exciting.
It is. We are
Yes.
so excited. I mean, it's the first one for us. It's the first of its kind. And I think it's going to be a great way just for us to get our word out more. And it's really an amazing branding experience for us as well, because it really gives us an idea to show the public who we are, because our business is strictly, manufacturing and e-commerce. So this is a really fun new venture for us.
Love that. Love that. We're going to shift a little bit here. Um,
Sure.
Thinking, and sometimes this is more of a two-part question. Was there ever a specific point in time, event, or key situation in your professional life that really forced you to take a monumental shift? And it could be, of course, in the career now and in your company. And by having to do that, positive or painful, how did going through that situation help you grow?
That's a great question. So I've had a few monumental shifts. I would say that one of them, and I'll try to make it shorter. There have been two, but the first one was early on, which was when I started my business in my tiny little apartment. I was married at the time, and eventually, my husband at the time had received an offer for a job in Columbus, Ohio, and my business started in Cleveland, Ohio. So for over a year and a half, I drove back and forth from Columbus to Cleveland every day to keep my business going. Eventually, I sold it because it just became too much, and I had an offer and I couldn't refuse it. But I ended up going through a divorce, and I wanted my kids' lives to stay as much the same as possible. I wanted my business back. I knew I could make it successful. It took me about 6 months, but I talked the people that bought my company into selling it back to me. And I restarted it literally from scratch with my sister in law, Lisa, and decided that, when life gives you lemons, as they say, we made brownies. So, and I wasn't going to let anything get in my way. I did not miss school functions. I missed absolutely nothing for my children while they grew up. And most importantly, I feel like I taught them that if you want something, you can make it happen. And they saw how hard I worked. And as a result, I think they have the same work ethic. And they realize that, you work hard, you get what you can become successful. And I think that was huge and very monumental. And now I would tell you, when you reach a certain level in your business, you have to realize that what it took to get you to where you are now is not going to be the same process to take you to the next level. And that's a huge realization. And lots of changes need to come as a result of that. So I would say both early on and now, where we've, achieved a certain level of success, we've made some monumental changes because we can't do the same thing we did before to get to the next place.
Talk about, you mentioned early on that persistence pays off. 6 months and you were able to buy the company back. That's crazy.
I did. I
Crazy
did.
exciting.
It was exciting. Believe me, it
Nerve
took a
wracking.
lot of very, very nerve wracking for so many reasons I can't even begin to tell you. But
Uh-huh.
persistence pays off because
Wow.
they weren't initially interested in doing it. By the end, they gave up. So it worked out well. And I still talk to them. They're wonderful people. I still
Oh,
talk to them.
that's called a win-win.
Thank you. Thank
Oh,
you.
good for you. When do you
Thank you.
feel your greatest sense of satisfaction?
So that's a great question. I would say probably no, a couple different things. One is I've learned to balance between home and my work life, and that has been extremely satisfying. But most importantly, I've learned to stop and smell the roses and appreciate what I have and what it took to get there. And I'm able to separate my home life from my work life. And to me, that is a huge accomplishment because I'm not going to tell you that when I don't respond to emails at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I don't check my email if I wake up in the middle of the night. But I have been able to come home and separate that for a time so I can enjoy my life outside of my work life. And
That's
that for me is
tremendous.
huge. Thank
Yes,
you.
it is.
Thank you.
And it takes work to do that.
It does take work. It really
And
does take work.
commitment to stay the course. It's too tempting
It
otherwise
does.
sometimes.
No kidding. That's
Oh,
so true.
oh, good for you. Oh, mercy.
Thank
Okay,
you.
our time is going so fast. Okay, Lisa, we're going to take a quick pause and take a quick break to hear from this episode's sponsor, and we will be right back.
Beauty is not limited to our outside appearance. It's inside us. It's our professional lives and our personal passions. It's in our health and wellness, our families, friends, and loved ones. Ask Us Beauty Magazine is content designed to educate, empower, and inspire individuals on all things beauty and wellness. We do this by bringing together people of all backgrounds to share their stories, leaving you with inspiration for living your best life. Whether it's through products, services, procedures, and personal brands, we challenge the status quo. Our mission is to change the narrative, allowing each and every one of us to define beauty on our own terms. Visit us today at askusbeautymagazine.com.
All right, we are back. Lisa, I'm watching this clock and I have to respect your time. I want to keep you, but there's some really important things I want to make sure we've got time for. Um, we all crave great resources. They may help inspire, uplift, or expand our minds. Do you have a favorite book or mentor, influencer resource that you'd like to share with us, and what makes it a favorite?
Oh, definitely. So I only tend to read books about success in business. So I have several, but I will tell you, here are the ones that I love. One is Pour Your Heart Into It by Howard Schultz. And as you probably know, he's the founder of Starbucks. His story is so inspiring. I love it. I've read the book actually twice. There's another book I love that I find very inspiring. It's actually in tethers now because I've read it so many times. It's called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. And this is something I read early on, and it really teaches you how you can make things happen when you want them to, and how you can use your mind and believe to make it happen. Another one that I love, 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 and these are all inspiring, of course. Shark Tales by Barbara Corcoran, incredible. I actually have a signed book from her. I met her. She's incredible. Just like you see her on TV, it is so inspiring where she came from and how she got to where she is today. I would recommend it to anyone. And then the last thing I do really enjoy listening to sometimes in my car, because I am a believer, is The Secret. And there's
Mm.
so many things about it that I really feel are so true, that you have to visualize things, you have to believe them, you have to see them happening in order for them to happen. And I listened to that early on when it was very difficult for me to get my business off the ground. And I attribute some of my success to that as well. Those are very inspirational.
Filling the bookshelf, but the heart at the same time. It
It's
is.
true. That's
Wow.
well put.
Thank you.
Very true.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Lisa, it has been beyond glorious visiting with you today. And as we begin
Thank
to wrap
you.
up, thank you. I'm so excited. Um, Sharing intentional inspiration with our audience, is there a piece of key go-to advice that resonates with you that you've got maybe on your desk or somewhere special? What would you like to share with us? What's a piece of intentional inspiration to share with the audience?
So I'm going to just read these to you because they're right behind me on my desk and I look at them every day. I'll just read a couple of them really fast for you. A
Super.
pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity. An optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. That's how I live my life. That's Winston Churchill. I love that quote. I also always go by the philosophy, especially because I'm in sales. No means not now. Maybe means yes, just not right now. And you have, especially in sales, you have to have that. You have to live by that. It's really one of the most important things. I don't take no for an answer. I just pause for a little bit. But I will tell you, persistence pays off. And they may say no once, but I eventually, if you do it the right way, they will say yes.
Exceptional. Exceptional. Love
Thank
it.
you.
Love it. Love
Thank
it.
you.
Yes. All right, my lady, the stage is completely yours. Where can our audience go to find and connect with you on your socials and or support you in your continued success?
Thank you. Okay, well, first of all, they can visit us online at browniepointsinc.com. Points is with an S. They can also visit us on Instagram at Brownie Points Inc. We love hearing from our followers. We would love for your listeners to follow us. And they can also visit us on Facebook at Brownie Points Inc. And we'd love, again, to interact with your followers and have them follow us. Those are our three best ones. They can also email me anytime, lking@browniepointsinc.com. Thank you for that,
Perfect.
Amber.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And we always put all of that content, your links in the resource section. So it's just a click away for our audience to connect with you and support
Thank
you.
you.
Yes. Oh, I do want to ask though, on the pop-up, will you be putting that marketing information out, nice announcements so our audience can keep up with
Oh,
that and visit?
absolutely. And I would
Groovy.
say start looking tomorrow. There will be some big announcements made and they will continue. So, yes, please take a look.
All right. They heard it here first.
That's right. Actually, they did hear it there first because it's not
Yay.
being announced until tomorrow. So
Oh,
you're
cool.
privy to it first.
There you go. Perfect. Lisa, thank you for taking time today and sharing a portion of your silhouette of success with us. You are a genuine, energetic light for all of us to be inspired, and you boosted a lot of mindset and optimism. So thank you for taking time today.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. And thank you so much for having me. I love talking to you. Thank you again.
All right, my lady. Until next time, thank you.
You bet. Take care. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Silhouettes of Success podcast. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on all the new episodes. We are here for you and with you. We encourage you to share this podcast on all your socials and pass on the light to help illuminate another silhouette of success. To find out the latest ways to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, and gain actionable insights, subscribe at thesilhouettesofsuccess.com or connect with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. We're grateful that you tuned in. Remember, you are exactly where you need to be, right here with us. This is the Amber Weitzer Podcast, Silhouettes of Success.